So on the tee, how can we help the golfers out, and any kind of patterns or myths that we see women tripping up on? And men, to be fair, but predominantly women.
I mean, I think a common fault is women don't seem to have a repeatable ball position with their driver. So for most of them, they want to get the ball high in the air, they want loft, and that requires a forward ball position.
So what do you mean by that? So having the ball too far forward, or what do you mean?
Right, so I've taught women that seem to think their ball position with the driver should be off their left big toe.
Okay.
Or their lead big toe.
Yeah.
But what happens on the course is you don't have your alignment sticks, you're not aiming down a straightaway fairway, so that big toe representation might end up looking like this.
So if you, yeah, I like that, yeah.
Way too far forward. What happens is optically, if your ball position is way too far forward, we start aiming more left.
Yes.
Right? That changes everything. So now our body is positioned way left, our hands might be a little bit back, or maybe feeling uncomfortable, they may get pushed too far forward.
Yeah.
But it's like a snowball effect. Like everything kind of happens after your ball position.
So what's a great way for people to sync it all up? So if you're putting it into your routine,
yeah,
how could they sync ball position up to aim and to target? What kind of things could they do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a big lines person, so what you could do is the old Jack Nicklaus, pick something about 6 or 12 inches in front of the ball.
Yeah.
That's in line with your target. I love that one. But I'm always a big fan of just starting with your feet together.
Yeah.
I think that's a really simple, easy way to get a repeatable ball position. So I always like to start with the ball pretty much in between my feet if they were this far apart.
Yeah. And
Take
then
a small step with the left, bigger step with the right.
Yeah, I like that. And if you're aiming up the left, like you say, so if we look at your ball position, stay exactly where you were. If we look at Michelle's ball position here, if you were parallel with my camera, it looks like it's outside her lead foot. But it's not. She is aiming on this angle, so almost using this ball position line to right angle reference your line up line allows people to sync both up almost, doesn't it?
Right.
Because I see the shuffle as well. Do you know what I mean by that?
Oh yeah.
So if you set up to a position,
yeah,
and then friend says, oh, you're aiming too far right or left, and they start, and now the ball position is,
it's way far off.
Yeah,
that's also something I see too. If you're doing the like shuffle, looking back at the target shuffling,
yeah,
you start turning your body more right.
Yeah.
Now your ball position's way too far back.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
again, snowballing off of that, you know, your hands could start moving too far out in front. It doesn't feel very comfortable, your hands being too far back. Well, now how far are you aimed? If I'm aiming at that card over there, I'm actually aimed probably at that tree.
Yeah,
60
absolutely.
yards right.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that, syncing up ball position, the aim. Very good. So we're in the bunker. Common misconceptions, and you were telling me you do something with lots of your players with lesser speed and lots of your female golfers with the face where you don't open it up, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest misconception, if you will, something that women are taught all the time is to really open the face, whether they have a 60 or 56 degree wedge, to get loft on the club and to get the ball out of the bunker. However, the problem with that is most women unfortunately don't have enough speed to accomplish that shot.
So show me, we got two balls. This is a very tough bunker shot that we've chosen because there's a lot of bunker to go over. But so if you're, what you're saying, so if you show us an open club face. So if we're talking twisting the face open, putting it to the sky, where that's going to give you height. So if we were going that way and the pin was just out there, you probably might choose to do that subject to the speed.
You might. I mean, I think an easier option would be just to grab your 60 degree wedge versus a 56.
Okay, and still keep it square or on.
Keep it square.
So show me a square. If we go back to this pin, show me an open again. Okay, so everyone can see, and then show me what you're saying that you would want to see some of your students doing more, so it's more that way. And that's because it's going to allow them to get the ball going forwards more because of the speed issues?
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen, no matter how high the lip is, you know, a 60 degree wedge certainly has enough loft to get the ball high up in the air.
Yeah.
But certainly for those that may not have as much speed, whether you are a female or a male,
yeah. This is a good option.
Yeah, you could essentially take a bump and run type swing.
Yeah.
And the ball relatively is going to get high enough to get over the lip and maybe have a little bit less spin than you would normally, but
get you out, which is
get
going
you
to
out.
be the key feature.
Yeah.
So we've got the face a little squarer. Ball position ideas and width for stance. Is there anything we're doing for people for that?
So I still like the ball position relatively forward. So
Yeah.
if I were to draw a line,
Nice.
maybe just inside that front heel.
Yeah.
Again, face is square.
Yeah. Handle not way forwards.
Handle is going to be forwards, but not
Yes.
excessively so.
Like that. So you're still trying to use some bounce on that club.
Now I like to draw a line behind the ball for my students, and everybody's going to be different. So I have taught women that like to look at the ball
Yeah.
while they hit a bunker shot. I also have taught women that like to look behind the ball. That's kind of a preferential thing.
Subject to maybe if you catch the ball too much or too much sand, you're going to move that, I guess.
Everybody's different. I prefer to look at this line
Yeah.
behind the ball because that's where I want the entry point to be. But again, ball position forward, weight is certainly forward.
Okay, and a decent size swing.
Yeah, but just think a bump and run type, so not excessively hinging your wrists or anything like that. So
show me.
Here we go.
Yeah, nice. So a little strong out, but out if we do another one, and you can see there, look, with relationship to your line, look how much sand you've taken there. It's great. Like, there's no real ball there. It just really does shoot out, doesn't it?
Right. And that one even had some spin on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll try it again.
Nice. So you're simplifying something that you see maybe lots of people getting a little bit in a tiz about.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly better to get out of the bunker versus taking 3 or 4 shots and then chucking it out.
Talk to me about putting. You've got some ideas for putting. You're definitely seeing lots of ladies just shredding putts on the green kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, most of the women that I've taught in my career, they kind of teeter around that 100
score mark. Yeah.
So what I try and objectively explain to them is that if you changed nothing at all about your swing, technique, anything but putting, if you reduced it from the average, 40, 44 putts per round to, that 34, 36 mark, I mean, that's 8 to 10 shots.
Yeah, huge difference.
Right, like, so now you can go from that 100 score to that 90, 92, which they would be more than happy with.
So you see lots of ladies coming to you saying they're trying to hit it X distance past the hole, I think you said earlier. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, like they'll come to me for a putting lesson and they'll say, well, my previous pro told me I should always roll the ball 12 to 18 inches past the cup.
Okay.
So
high precision levels there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be in some serious control over your speed. So, if I'm looking for, a speed control mindset, it's just to get that next putt to be a tap-in. Okay. So I really don't care if you're short for a longer putt, especially if the greens are running at that 11, 12, maybe 13. You certainly don't want that feel of rolling at 12, 18 inches past.
So you're looking much more kind of bucket liddy ideas, aren't you, I guess? You're trying to get, if people are just trying to constantly whack it past the hole, we're going to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, like my dad always used to say, just nestle it up there. And I love that concept because, even if you do leave it short, you're going to give yourself that nice tap in. If you hit it a little left, little right, I mean, that could be just the break. And then if you do happen to roll it past, then you give yourself a good opportunity to make it.
Yeah, I love that. Look at the pace of that. It's just brilliant. I mean, that is past the hole, but it's like, again, it's that bucket lid idea. And I think this is a male or female thing. It's just getting out here and practicing those long putts more, isn't it? Because people are just wasting so many shots.
You're wasting so many shots, and again, like, you have to be so precise with your speed control. If you're not, I think, again, a better mindset is just get it anywhere within that 2 to 3 foot circle, and you'll be good.
So improving strikes from the ground, and not to be too crude, but I mean, ladies have chests. We see different size chests, and you have to manage that, don't you?
Right. I mean, the women that I have coached, they're afraid to hit the ground.
Yeah.
And even if they get past that and they're like, I'm not afraid, but I still can't hit the ground. What I've noticed is, you know, you see a lot of this.
Yeah, pulling in.
Right?
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, what they're doing is they're raising the club from the ground further away. So that's when you get those top shots. But I think it really stems from the setup.
Okay.
So, you know, whether you have a larger chest or not, setup is really important in how your arms hang.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you were saying earlier, you definitely see some ladies who are almost going around their chest, which is then bending their arms, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're
you
larger chested,
like, these kind of like alligator.
Yeah, and then you're having to really bend differently, I guess, to get the club to bottom out, aren't you?
Right, right. So if you think like when the club is at the top of the backswing, and as it's kind of extending downwards, your arms are reaching out like that, right?
Yeah.
So for you to start in these alligator arm position and then to go to that extreme, I mean, that's
hard to manage.
That's really hard to manage.
Yeah. So what do you like to see in the setup to help people get bottoming out a little better?
Yeah, something really simple is, you know, if I were to stand feet shoulder width apart, kind of looking straight out to the horizon, if I just put my palms on my thighs,
okay,
what I'm going to essentially try and do is pitch myself forward. I'll stop when my fingertips are just above kneecap height. Yeah. And then I'll let them hang. So sometimes I'll use a medicine ball just to give to someone in this position so they can feel kind of the weight of the ball, allow their arms to hang straight. Yeah. And then from there, you know, grab your club, and that's kind of where I want your arms to be. So for those that are more well endowed, certainly having your arms kind of retracted and pinched back is not what we want to see.
No.
We want to see them a little, you can squeeze them, that's fine.
Yeah, so that's the question I used to always get asked, not to be crude, do I squeeze or do I go over? And to be fair, with the women I've worked with over the years, it was a mixture of both, what felt more comfortable to the actual individual. And
that's the thing, right? Like, because I think it really is determined by how long your arms are and how long your forearms are. So that's something you're just going to have to test out. But whether you squeeze them or you're kind of laying on top of the girls, your arms should be more straight than bent.
I like that, and that's definitely something that I've seen in women and you're seeing over and over again.
Yeah, and that's certainly going to help you at least attempt to hit the ground.
Like it.